All right. Hey guys, welcome back to Sun Crypto. It is July 15th, 2023. In today's content, we'll take a look at BTC on a macro level and all that good stuff. We'll take a look at it in terms of, fibs. We'll take a look at it in terms of Fibonacci's, Elliott wave and all that good stuff. Okay, we'll take a look at the dominance and what type of, you know, bull market or what type of price action we could be anticipating over the next like a few weeks or even month. Okay, so we'll start off with the Elliott wave first before we talk about the high lows, especially with the pre-halving and all that good stuff, because we could potentially still be above the monthly 211 EMA before the halving. As of now, the monthly 211 EMA, it is at 28k give or take, right? So, and we should be expecting like the halving to be sometime in April 2024. So obviously less than a year. So it could be some exciting times over the next like 9 to 12 months, right? So let's start off with the Elliott wave first, because we got to review the Elliott wave and the monthly 211 EMA, what we said regarding the monthly 211 EMA last quarter of 2022, and what type of push we were expecting for BTC going back to the monthly 211 EMA. Okay, and the wave one we actually creating right now. Okay, so now if you take a look at BTC on the macro level, you can see like started like back in 2018, late 2018, after we put in our final low right there, just about like a low. Let's take a look at it right here. That'll be, take a look at it in terms of price. Right there. All right, so after we putting our final low right there, just about like a 3,000, right, we basically started to push to the upside and got our five-way structure to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? So what we said during the 2022 bear market, we said since like we started to count, since like we counted five-wave move to the upside from 3k all the way up to 69k, it is not feasible, right, to be counting another five-wave move to the downside. It means that you're extremely bearish and you're going to be expecting like BTC to even like a retest all the way down to the all the way down to a 3k area. Okay, so what we did was like we started to look for a WXYXZ correction. So as soon as we started this move, right, we said like, okay, we could potentially get some move all the way down to like the quarterly 21 EMA. We'll talk about BTC on the quarterly time frame, but in terms of wave analysis, we said okay, we could be getting a five-way structure, right? And that's exactly what BTC created right here. But the five-way structure, once again, it is not a impulsive move. You can see like this entire move is not impulsive on the monthly. Yes, on the weekly, 3D, daily, you're going to get some impulsiveness, right? But on the monthly basis, you're just going to get some some massive dump. Yes, but it is not as impulsive as we had from like a 3k all the way up to 69. You can see like the move right there was pretty smooth, right? This move is pretty choppy. You got like multiple wave within the single wave, right? So we got a five-way structure in a corrective mode, right? WXYXZ correction. So if you've been following us, at least started like back in November, October, November, December, okay, 2022, what we were saying was like the monthly 100 EMA, it is a strong support. We're not 100% sure if it is going to be the final bottom, but we had like 80 to 85% probability of the monthly 100 EMA basically holding as a support. That's a red moving average you're seeing right here. And at the same time, we talk about it like in terms of like a RSI, right? Not even like not just in terms of wave analysis, but if we couple it with our indicators, the RSI, we were saying like if the RSI retests anywhere below 40 level, right, it is going to be a strong buy, even though you're not getting a confirmation of a macro reversal yet, but you're at a very, very strong level to be accumulating BTC. All right, and we've been entirely bearish throughout the 2022 cycle, till we completed the 12-month cycle from like a November 2021 down to November 2021 Leroy, right? Down to a November, up to November 2022. So 12-month cycle got completed, the 5-way structure got completed. So that's the only thing we need regarding what's happened, you know, over the last few months. Okay, so now you're gonna be like, we knew, okay, or we know we got our 5-way move to the downside, okay, right? And we know now we at the monthly 21 EMA. So what's next? Okay, what could we be expecting over the next, like, let's say 9 months, 12 months, okay? Because we're talking about the macro over the next like a 2 to 3 quarters, right? We know the halving going to be in sometime in Q1, right? Q2 Leroy, right? Going to be sometime in Q2 2024. And we know most of the time, okay, if we back test it, even though we've been getting some diminishing return, I'm going to explain to you what I mean, okay? Let's just track it back first before we talk about the recent move up to the monthly 21 EMA, right? So you can see, like, you know, November 2011, the price of BTC was just about like a $3, okay? What happened in November 2012, okay, the price of BTC was way above the monthly 21 EMA and was like 300% above the you know, 52 weeks low, okay? So what does it mean, right? If you go ahead and backtest it yourself, you can see, like, you know, July 2015, the price of BTC was at $300, okay? July 2016, Leroy, $600, 100% move, right? So you take a look at it right here, May 2019, we were just below $9,000, okay? And May 2020, above $9,000. So what could we expect, right? We could be expecting, right, within the next like a few months, right, the price of BTC, if the halving going to be sometime in let's say April 2024, March, April 2024, we could be expecting the price of BTC, right, to be somewhere near 28,000, okay? Because we've been getting some diminishing return. You can see, like, right here was nearly 300%, okay? Right there we got about 100%. Right there we just got about like a 20%, right, above the previous, you know, above the 52 weeks low, okay? Right here we could see the price of BTC to be somewhere around the monthly 21. Could it be lower, below the monthly 21, just because we've been getting some diminishing return? That's possible, okay? That is very, very possible. But we know we should be close to the monthly 21 or somewhere close to a 28K, okay? Not like 50%, 80%, you know, 90% below the monthly 21 EMA within the next like 9 months. I know most bears are expecting like 3K, 1K, you know, and all that good stuff, right? But, you know, it is not, as of now, right, reasonable to be looking for like a even 10K BTC, okay? 10K BTC could even be out of the card. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not saying it won't, but the probability is not very, very high, right? So so let's take a look at the chat room. Before I go back to the Elliott wave analysis, right? Let me take a look at the chat room to make sure the sound is good. We got Quiet Cook in the house, cooking some ADA, some XRP, you know, and flushing some what are you flushing today? Probably flushing some Litecoin. We got Mr. Shu asking for Litecoin BTC. We'll take a look at Litecoin BTC. All right, so I guess the sound is good. I got my 589 from Mr. Shu, right? So going back to the chart, right? So we just discussed like how important it is to be staying macro, you know, within like, let's say 9 to 12 months before the halving, the pre-halving year, because we're going to get the hype after the halving. It's been happening over the last 10 years, okay? So it is likely, the probability of the same thing repeating for BTC is very high, okay? XRP just won their case, right? So that's going to fuel up the bull market going forward. It doesn't mean like price action cannot drop like even 25, 30 or even 40%, right? But I just don't see like BTC dropping like 90%, going down to 3K, stuff like that, right? Within the next like within the next like 6 to 9 months, right? but we will see how it goes over the next like a few months going into 2024. Now let's go back to the Elliott wave analysis. Okay, so if we take a look at it now, let's change here. Now we already discussed our WXYXZ correction, right? Right, so it means the entire correction is done, right? So now this move we're getting right now, it is a very tricky move, right? We know our potential target over the next like 18 months to 24 months are going to be somewhere around like 180, right, to a 200k, but we're not going to get there in a straight line. Even this move right here wasn't a straight line. Okay, we started the bull run back in November 2018, right? December 2018. But you can see how choppy it was, right? Very choppy. We pushed up to a 14k, dropped back down to 3k, push up to like 63, 30k, and then 69, right? So I would be expecting, right, the this 4-year cycle. The 4-year cycle started right here actually. Okay, you got your 2021, next one going to be 2024, right? But after the bear market, right, I would be expecting the this move, right, to be also choppy, not this wide Leroy, okay, but to be also choppy. So what does it mean in terms of wave analysis? Since we're expecting some choppiness, right, it means we could get a clean 5-way structure over the next like actually started since November. We could get a 5-way structure to the upside, meaning like this could be our wave 1, which is it is not actually done yet. We'll take a look at it on the weekly. We'll see if we're going to get a final flush, right, and get our wave 2. We don't know how deep our wave 2 going to be. That's going to be the big the big puzzle, right, over the next like 3 to 6 months before the halving, okay, or even after the halving, depending on the volatility. And after the halving, we could be looking for our wave 3 to the upside and potentially wave 5 blow up top or a double top. We don't know, okay, but this is going to give us our wave a 5-way structure, right? So the most important wave as of now, it is not even our wave 1, because we know our wave 1, we were saying on the monthly basis. If we go back to the monthly basis, we said on the monthly basis, 19k to 17k, 18k, it is a good level to accumulate. Don't even wait for 16k or 15k, right? If you've been following us back in November, we said 19k to 17k range was a good accumulation, right? Now this range of 30k, if we take a look at it on the monthly, going to be a very tricky range, because at any given time, even though we're in a bull run, right, 85% chance we're in a bull run, we can basically come back down for a correction, right? And we don't know how deep it'll be, right? We don't know how deep our correction going to be, but we'll keep on following the weekly 3D, and all that good stuff, because we cannot catch those moves on a monthly basis. If you take a look at the monthly, it is already bullish right here, and most people are going to be, the monthly MACD has already ticked positive, which is a very, very strong statement from the bulls, okay? Basically strengthening our argument like we in a macro bull run. We don't care about a 25-30% pullback and all that good stuff, but on the macro scale, the monthly is saying that we're in a bull run. So we go back to the weekly, we could be looking for our wave 2, right? Our wave 2 to be anywhere between 0.618 or even all the way down to a full retracement, right? So something to keep in mind. I'm not saying 31, 32 going to be the top, because we haven't gotten yet a clear reversal. The weekly MACD, if we take a look at it, let's take a look at the weekly MACD. Leroy just pointed out a potential like a divergence on the weekly MACD, which is true, right? We could get a weekly bearish divergence right here, right? But it hasn't yet come from. We're still above the weekly 21. We're still above the weekly 21. So it is going to be highly aggressive as of now, right, to just go full bear, right? Even though we're in we like in the second half of 2023, I was expecting the second half of 2023 to be bearish, but it is still pretty early. Okay, it is only like July 15th, so still gotta give market time to digest the recent pump, right, from like a 25k to 31k. If it doesn't break it, right, it could be coming down. We don't know how the wave going to be structured. At the same time, it could be any type of wave. It could be WXY, it could be ABC, it could be even a flat, okay, because it's not guaranteed, right, BTC will break below 25k. It is not guaranteed. We could still be in this range. The wave 2 could be a very short wave, just retrace down to 25k, and then after that we could be getting our wave 3 to the upside. So you just have to be very, very open-minded, and you know, if you're bull, right, gotta be open-minded, stay macro bullish, be cautious with your wave 2, because you don't know how deep it'll be, but it can be anywhere in this range, right? But we will continue to follow the macro structure and all that good stuff. Try to figure out our wave 2, how deep it'll be, follow our 3D, weekly, MACD, weekly RSI, and all that good stuff, right? So we're done with the potential retracement over the next like a few months. So let's take a look at the potential push to the upside, right, for BTC, right? If the wave 1 is not yet done, let's say we want to bulls want to basically get another flush to the upside, flush all the bears. Let's take a look at it right there. So on a weekly basis, for whatever reason, okay, let's say bulls want to basically flush out Leroy and the crew, you could be saying like, hey, we got a potential move all the way up to 0.618. If you do a swing high right there, 69 all the way down to 15.5, 0.618, it is roughly around like a 39k, right? 39 to 41k, give or take, right? That's going to be the potential maximum move we could expect, like this quarter or like the next 2 quarters, if the wave 1 going to be a very long wave 1, because nothing is saying as of now, right, on the 3D or even on the, you know, weekly. We'll take a look at the daily, okay, because the daily, it has a, you know, some degree of bearishness, okay. Nothing is saying on the higher time frame the wave 1 is done yet. Okay, so if wave 1 is not done yet, the maximum potential move you could be expecting, especially this quarter, could potentially be up to 39. But I'm not expecting that high as of now. Would be paying attention first to like a 35 to 37k right there, which was our monthly 21 EMA support right around here. Okay, back in Q1 2022, if you guys recall, when we were saying like, when BTC was around like a 52 area, we were saying that we're going to drop all the way down to like the monthly 21 EMA. Let's take a look at it on the monthly, right? That's the level right here we got to pay attention to on a weekly basis before we talk about the 0.618. Okay, and at the same time, if you do a swing low, I mean swing high Leroy right there, 48k down to swing low 15.5, you can see like 0.786, it is roughly around like a 39k. So that 39 to 41k area, you know, you got 39 as a, you know, 0.786 from a swing high of just about like a 48k down to you know, 15.5. You got your 0.786 being at 39. If you do a swing high right there to swing low, right, you got 0.618 at 39. So 39 is a macro confluence, but it is not going to get there in one shot. All right, so something to basically keep in mind for the potential move of wave 1. If we get some sort of like a good news, you know, some extension of the volatility, you know, for the next like a couple of months and all that good stuff. But I don't see us basically going up to, you know, going up to like a November, December, right? So it is likely to be taking a taking a break and pulling back down, which is just going to be on on the lower degree, not on the macro level like on the monthly, because anything at or near the quarterly 21 EMA going to be a big support for BTC, right? I discussed it multiple times after the quarterly after the quarterly breakout in Q1. We said clearly it is a 72% breakout. All right, so it is the early stage of the bull market. I don't think we will get up to 45k. If you watch our quarterly analysis, quarterly 2 analysis, right, Q2 analysis 2023, we said we got a very low probability to hit like a 48k, which is going to be our next big resistance, if we break our 0.618. All right, so if we pull back down for whatever reason, we get a bad news, okay, let's say the SEC appealing, going to appeal the the XRP case, and market decides to dump, we got the quarterly 21 as support. As of now, it is just about like a 23k, but just give it like some level of tolerance. I would say 23 plus minus 10%, as we did right here back in Q2 2022. What we said, quarterly 21 EMA going to be our support plus minus 10%. That time the quarterly 21 EMA was just about like a 21k, so we dumped like 10-15% below it, let's say 19k, something like that, before bouncing back up to like a 24-25k, where we said like we're going to retest the lows. Okay, so if you're playing, not financial advice, but if you're paying attention to BTC on the macro level, not on the 15-second chart, within the next like a 2 to 3 quarters, if we hit 23k, it could dump below it, retest like a 20. But you might be like, okay, I don't care, I'm paying attention to BTC on the macro level, because we want to basically, I want to basically be a moon boy all the way up to 180 to 100k, depending on the volatility in mid to late 2025, right? So now let's go ahead and take a look at BTC on a 3D basis, right? So if we take a look at BTC on a 3D basis, we've been in a constant, you could call it double top, triple top, quadruple top, whatever you want to call it, right? But we got our 3D 21 EMA just about like a 28.9 as of now. Okay, on my last update, it was on my premium update, right? My last update, it was somewhere around like a 28.7. So after we hit this level, I said clearly, it is better to wait for price action to cool back down. Even on my public update, if you watch my last public update, we talked about like the mid 28k being a support right here, because we could not break it right after the before the wedge pattern. We couldn't break it right here. That was a massive resistance. So what we said was like the level right here going to be a support. Will we break it? We don't know. We just have to wait and see, because we still got a macro, you could call it macro or midterm, short to midterm trend line, right? Still around this level. So the mid 28k going to be a big support. In terms of divergence, right, Leroy pointed out a potential divergence on the weekly, but the 3D, it is still pointing up. If this guy crosses negative, right, the 3D MACD crosses negative, that will confirm the divergence. Okay, however, you have to basically dissect, okay, the higher time frame and the short to medium time frame. You can be bearish on the 3D up to weekly time frame, but be bullish on the monthly basis, right? If we get a negative crossover on our 3D basis, that'll signal a potential downtrend, as we just said, because we remember we're waiting for our wave 2 to correct down, right? Our wave 2 to be correcting, not waiting, but we expecting at some point BTC could be creating a wave 2, right, correction. So if for whatever reason, okay, we get a bad news or whatever, okay, whatever the case, or market just decides to flip bearish for the next 3 to 6 months, right? And this guy decides to do this, right? We could be expecting a correction, right, over the following month. So pay attention to the 3D MACD. Okay, the other potential case, okay, or possible case for the 3D is like it does something like that. Okay, it crosses negative and then flip back bullish. If that happens, right, there is nothing you can do. Okay, you just have to basically suck it up and say, okay, we got a double move, because we got a such move before, right? If we go back to right here, back in back in October 2021, we did have a double move, and a higher, made a higher high right there. Okay, so if we're going to create a double move, that's going to be extremely bullish, right, for the bulls, right? So pay attention to the 3D basis and all that good stuff. Support the mid 28K. Okay, do not want to break at any given time if you're bullish, right, and paying attention to the lower degree. We don't want to break below the trend line support right here, because that'll basically take us down to our potential 50% pullback or 0.618 pullback. And 50% pullback, just about the quarterly 21, right? It is around the quarterly 21. The 50% area is roughly around like a 22K. 0.618, it is roughly around like a 20K area. Okay, so we'll see how it goes. Right now, let's take a look at it on a daily basis. So we take a look at BTC on the daily. We just got a daily rejection, but still above the daily 21. The bad news on a daily basis is like the MACD continues to stay bearish, and we just printed a massive, I wouldn't call it massive, but a daily divergence, right? And it is pretty frequent, okay, to get these daily divergences, just like what happened right here. We created a daily divergence right there, right, and pull back. You can see like right there, okay, MACD was negative, price action was still positive, okay, staying above the 21 EMA. Okay, and finally broke out right here, pushed to the upside and created a bigger divergence, right? But overall, if you look back, you're gonna be like, this entire move, okay, was just a correction. Myself, I was entirely bullish, right, on this move. The only reason I flipped bearish right here was like, did not see the expanded flat playing out. Okay, I was just saying, okay, this could be a flat correction. However, if we break below 21K, it could drop all the way down to the 19.6, but it dropped, I mean actually 18.777, right, but it only dropped down to like a 19.7 before pushing back up, right? So hopefully it makes sense, right? So daily divergence not looking so great. So if it pushes back up to a 31.5, 31.8 and gets another rejection, that will increase the probability of coming down to these areas, right, mid 28Ks, right, and potentially could be pushing back up. If not, it could even come down to retest the trend line support. But just have to monitor this range, right, the mid 28K and your trend line support. The short to medium term trend line support started since like late December 2022. Hopefully it makes sense. Okay, regarding the MACD, one thing you could be paying attention to regarding the MACD, if we're not going to be pushing to the upside, right, the MACD could be very annoying, because it could just do something like that, just like what we had on a 12-hour basis. You can see how the 12-hour just printed this move right there. You go back to the daily time frame, that's the same move it is just printed. So daily not looking so strong, but BTC is crazy. Okay, it might look weak for one day, right, and the very next day everything could change. So you have to be ready for both scenarios, right? I would say 12-hour up to the daily time frame not looking so juicy, right, below the 12-hour 21, and we're getting our second crossover on our 12-hour basis. So a potential correction, right, even though this could be a clear bull flag, right, a potential correction down to the 28 is probable. All right, the mid 28.7 down to even 28K, but 28.7 to 28.4 could be a good decent range. Okay, so we'll see how it goes, right, over the next like a few weeks or so on. Okay, and all that good stuff, right? So now I think we covered BTC on the quarterly basis all the way down to the 12-hour basis, right? But I think one time frame we don't tend to talk about a lot, right, it is our 12-month cycle. The 12-month cycle is so important, but since like most people like noise, right? Kind of like Leroy, right? So if you like noise, you're not gonna like the 12-month cycle, right? What does it mean? Okay, it means like you like those big moves, right? On a low degree, 10, 15, 20, 30, 50%, right? Kind of like XRP. But if you take a look at BTC on the monthly cycle, and I've been saying it, okay, you know, with all the bearishness we encountered over the last, you know, let's say throughout 2022, I was saying it, there, you know, we only have two 12-month bearish cycle prior to 2022, right? As you can see right here, the first 12-month cycle, 12-month bearish cycle, Leroy, was back in 2014, right? And the second one was like 2018, and we all remember how brutal 2018 was. Okay, most of us, like if you watch it now, probably, okay, 2018 was your first bear market and you didn't know what a bear market is, right? And you're thinking like bear market is just like, you know, a time to enjoy the a time to enjoy the downtrend, right? So, but you get the point, okay? On the 12-month cycle, we only got 3 bearish yearly cycle, right? So, and after each one of them, right, we tend to what? I mean, the prior to this one, we haven't gotten yet a 3 years bull, right? But back in after 2014 bear market, we had a 3 consecutive bullish yearly cycle. After the 2018, same thing. Could we expect something like that? That is very, very possible, right? That's why I'm saying, like, if some bulls are panicking because BTC pulls back down, like let's say down to the quarterly 21, or like down to even 20k or even 16k, you might not understand what's going on a 12-month. It could just be a, you know, to shake out the weak hands, right? Dump down to all the way down 16k. I'm not saying it won't, but at some point it could dump all the way down to 16k within the same, you know, 12-month cycle. Let's say this current 12-month cycle, and pump right back up, kind of like what happened in 2020. So I'm saying it once again, I do not expect, right, the 2022 cycle to close bearish. Could it close bearish? Possibly. Anything is possible, right? So on the 12-month cycle, once again, I said it in 2022 and I'm saying it again, it is extremely bullish, right? So I think we are in the early stage of the bull market, and the next, you know, 18 to 24 months could be extremely bullish, right, for the bulls, regardless of what type of wave 2 we're going to encounter within the next like a few months before the halving. But after the halving, you know, the 16 months following the halving, that's the best time, right, to stay bullish. No need to be even bearish, because we won't likely see a 30%, 40% drop on BTC after the halving. Okay, if you take a look at it on a monthly basis, you know, I can't recall, right? Let's see. After the halving right here, let's say 2012, right? You can see like all these monthly bullishness after the halving, right? Right here after the halving, you can see all these monthly bullishness, right? Even if we drop like 30%, it might just be like to retest the monthly 21, right? But I don't think we will close like a back-to-back monthly bearish, you know, monthly bearish cycle, like 30% drop each, okay, stuff like that, right? So it is very, very unlikely for that to take place, you know, after the halving. But going back to the monthly cycle, it is extremely bullish, right? Early stage of the bull market. So it is better to stay bullish than to stay bearish. But you do whatever you want, okay? I'm not advising you to do anything. I'm just showing you what I see in front of me. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, you can also, you know, do your own analysis and all that good stuff, right? So really quickly, I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at the BTC dominance. But before that, let's take a look at the chat room. Hey, what's up, Tails? Thanks a lot for tuning in. We got George in the house. could you chart ETC, Ethereum Classic, and PRQ Parsec? Okay, so let's take a look at the BTC dominance first. Okay, guys, give me 1 second. Satoshi is calling. Alright guys, sorry, that was Satoshi calling saying like the BTC dominance likely to stay up. Okay, so now let's take a look at the BTC dominance. We talk about the BTC dominance in multiple occasions, right? And we've been saying since 2022, we said to be majority BTC, 75 to 80, 75 to 80% BTC, or even high if you prefer, right? Because the BTC dominance could be going all the way up to 60%, right? But 50% was the first target, 50, 52, 53%. We already hit that level, and it is pulling back down towards the previous resistance. We know, okay, 48, up to 47, 48% was a massive resistance. Took like forever to break above it. You can see like June 2021 could not break it. June 2022 could not break it, and it finally broke out above it in June 2023. Could it be another retest of it? Possibly. Okay, from like a 52 down to like a 48, which going to basically translate to a possible alt temporary pullback, okay, to the upside. All right, so some of these alt BTC could be pushing to the upside temporarily if the BTC dominance is going to be retesting like 48%. But once again, in terms of a trend line, you can see like we're still in a massive uptrend on a weekly basis. I'm not talking about like on a 15-second chart regarding the BTC dominance, right? So it is still in a massive uptrend, and we do not tend to see all season while the BTC dominance is above the monthly 21 EMA. Okay, so what does it mean? It means like in order to get a very very an extreme, okay, all season, we got to get below the 21 EMA on a weekly basis. So hopefully it makes sense. Okay, just like what happened back here in October 2021, after we took out the weekly 21 EMA, we did have the metaverse season, right? I think only the metaverse pump, right? Most of the alt that pumped back then were were the metaverse. Okay, so and you can see that we dumped back down to the 39% right there. That was like a June 2022 after we bottomed. You can see like below the weekly 21 EMA, dump all the way down to like a 39%. And we said it in September. If you guys recall, I said September is a turning point, right? And speaking of September, you can see like right there, we could be pushing all the way up, to like a 53, 58% by September. Okay, regardless of what BTC going to be doing, whether BTC going to be going up or going to be correcting for the wave 2. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, guys. So something to just keep in mind, right? The BTC dominance could push all the way up to 58%, right? While the BTC price action could even be pulling back. We don't know what type of move it'll be, but it is still better to be majority BTC till we get a proper alt season. Okay, so that's all I wanted to cover. I'm going to take a look at LTC BTC really quickly. So LTC BTC, it did break out to the upside over the last few weeks against BTC. Triple bottom right here, push back up. It was initially a double top, double bottom, right, in a continuation, but we got this massive reversal looking like a triple bottom, but it looks like it got rejected again. So if it breaks below the let's say 280,000 sats, could be coming down to like, let's say 240,000 sats, or even down to like 180,000 sats, right, which is somewhere around like the June 2022 lows, right? So but if it breaks above your 400,000 sats range right there, you could be looking for like a 500,000 sats, right? But overall on the weekly was actually very bullish, but we could not continue the momentum to the upside, right? So need to break above the 360k sats, right, Leroy, 360,000 sats before any further move to the upside. Sometimes you have to just zoom out on a monthly. It could be something like XRP2, where you basically just consolidate near your monthly 220 EMA for like a few months and then just decide to break out to the upside all the way up to 700,000 sats, right? So if you still believe in XRP, you could continue to not financial advice, continue to follow your monthly 211 EMA, just accumulate as it goes down, because the monthly MACD, it is still positive, right? Let's take a look at ETC USDT. So Ethereum Classic still consolidating. You got your support right here, just about like a $15 to $13 range, right? Your 0.786 is roughly around like a $8. If it breaks below the 0.618, you got 0.786 around like a $8, and 0.888 around like a $5. Okay, the macro resistance within this consolidation range going to be your $38 to $40 range, or even $45 range right there. Okay, $40 to $45. If it gets there, it is going to be a good level to scoop up some profits and basically wait for another pullback down 50% to a 0.618, all the way down to potentially like a $24 or even $20 range, right? So let's take a look at PRQ, Parsec. Let's take a look at it on Coinbase. Okay, it doesn't have enough history. Let's take a look at it right here, PRQ. Okay, so PRQ, I mean, it is still consolidating just like the rest of the crypto. The low somewhere around like a 5, 6, 7 cents. So if it pulls back down to the August 2020 lows, you got a good support level to pay attention to, right there, right? So this could be a potential 5-way structure already, and then you got your wave 1, wave 2, and then a move to the upside. So overall, this entire move is accumulation range, right? Could it break it? Yes. If it break it, you got your DCA potential level. If not, right, you got still a great accumulation range. Okay, but if it pushes back up at any given time, right, from this current level all the way up to the monthly 21, got to be taking profits, because the BTC dominance is still going to go up. So even if it pushes up 100%, 200%, it is likely to be coming back down. We've seen it like in we've seen it with FTM, AGIX back in January, when those coins, like those AI coins, pumped like a lot, and you can see like since like February they've been going down, right? So if you get a massive pump, 100% to 100%, what's the deal. If it breaks down, just going to be a great accumulation level, right? All right, guys. So I'm just gonna cut it. I'm just gonna cut it short, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Be safe out there. We'll be going for another live if we get more interesting data to talk about and all that good stuff. Because it is the boring phase. Okay, it is still wave one of the bull market, but it is at the same time a good time to stay very, very focused, right, before the halving, and not fall for the news, right? The SEC, the XRP, the BNB. There's so much news, okay, so much to follow. I haven't been even following like anything regarding crypto. I just be seeing like stuff like in the chat room and stuff like that, but I just been focusing on the chart. Because if you follow the news, some news going to be extremely bullish, some news going to be extremely bearish, and you're going to be like, okay, which one am I going to be following, right? Stuff like that, right? So I try to keep it chart, only chart analysis, right? Not news, not news analysis and all that good stuff. So stay focused. It is already like over 2 years after after our first bull market peak back in May 2021. So, and it is about to be like 2 years after our second bull market peak right here. So after that, we're only gonna get like let's say 16 to 18 months before our bull market peak, next bull market peak. So if you miss the next, like, let's say 6 to 9 month, right, accumulation range, you're probably gonna have to wait for another 4 years, because you're gonna have to wait for till basically 23 plus 4, 2027 before you get these type of opportunities. And by then price is going to be higher, because BTC been making what, high lows. Even though you're going to be accumulating in 2027, you're probably going to be accumulating around, like, let's say 60k, 70k, right? Something like that. I'm just speculating, right? So keep that in mind, stay focused, and be safe out there. Thanks a lot for watching, guys.